All right, we're starting another section here, a new section. This is 3.7, Introduction to Modeling. Modeling is just saying, based off of this word problem, create an equation. Okay? Create an equation based off of this word problem. Right? So linear modeling, quadratic modeling. So we're using word problems to deduce some kind of equation, formula, or whatever it is they're trying to ask. Okay? Now, to get us to understand a little bit more about this, we have here different statements, and each statement is going to correspond to one of these graphs. Okay? So we're going to match the statement with the particular graph. So let's look at the first one here. It says college tuition from 2000 to 2015. What do you think the tuition has done? Has it decreased? Has it stayed the same? Or has it gone up? What do you think? And if you were to um, pick one of these, which one would you pick from your six options? So A, B, C, D, E, or F. Which one will represent college tuition from 2000 to 2015? Yeah. Okay. Most people are picking F. Now, if tuition was at $0 in 2000, yes, we would pick E. But tuition was at $0, right? That would be awesome. So it would have had a starting point, correct? It would have a starting point. So that means then F would be um the most the best representation of for this statement. Okay, because you're starting somewhere, right? Whether it's 2000, whatever, and then it went up from there. So I'm saying. So it would be nice if it was E, but unfortunately, that is not the case for most students unless they got a scholarship or some kind of grant. Okay. So for one, the answer is going to be F. Okay. So go ahead. Any question on there? All right. So go ahead and figure out the rest. Which one do you think that's each statement, which graph corresponds with each statement? All right, so let's see if you got them correct or not. So for number two, the answer for number two um, should be D. Okay. For number three, the answer for that one is A. For number four, the answer for that one is C. Number five, that would be E. And number six, the answer is D. I'm sorry, B as in boy. Okay. All right, so let's go through it real quickly. Average temperature in the freezer in degrees Celsius, so it's going to be below X, right? Because it's freezing, so that's appropriate, the answer there. Profit from selling boxes of candy if it costs $200 to make the candy. Well, so that means you're below, right? You spent money, so you're down the hole already. So that's why you're starting is down here. Then you can start making money and basically have a $0 balance from what you owed. Okay? Or what you had put in. For four, height of Mount Hood in Oregon over time, yeah, it doesn't gonna change. It's the same. Mount Everest is still 29,000 something something feet. Okay. The total amount of water delivered by a garden hose if it flows at a constant rate. Yeah, so it was at zero, the garden hose zero, you turn it on, then it will have a constant rate. Okay, so that would be um E. And then the last one is B. Sales of music and CDs from 2000. Yeah, so like for example, I don't think Target makes any more or sells any more music CDs. They do the vinyl, but not regular CDs anymore. Okay. Anyway, if we got them all correct, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Okay, good. Fantastic. Yes. All right. So let's keep going here. All right. So the next ones are just word problems, things that have already been done already, because I've been trying to include a word problem for each section. So, but they want us to continue on with that. So let's look at this one. Okay. Pause this for a second. Okay, so this one are just statements, and we need to figure out a equation that represents this particular problem. Okay, so we need to find an equation in y equals mx plus b that models this particular problem. Okay, so we need to write that equation. So y is equal to mx plus b. Okay. All right. So if I look at the first one, it says a quantity y is initially negative 60 and increases at a rate of $1.70 per minute. So automatically, what's our m? What's our m here? What's our rate? Exactly. 1.7, right? 1.7 per minute. So that's going to be our m. Okay. And then what's our b? Exactly. Negative 60, right? So it'll be negative 60 to b. There we go. Okay. So that's our starting point. Okay. All right. So there's the answer. That's all they want. That's it. Okay. So go ahead and try the next two there. Right. So the second one says here a quantity watt is initially 5,000 and decreases at a rate of $35 per day. Right. So that means I'm going to start with 5,000. So that's going to be my B. Okay. And it decreases at a rate of $35 per day. So that means it's going to be a negative 35x. Okay. All right. And then that's our answer for number two. Okay. And the last one says a quantity y is initially negative 45 and it remains constant. So this means a horizontal line. Okay. So that would be y is equal to negative 45. And then there's your answer. Okay, so it says here that the world population in 1987 reached 5 billion people. And by 2012, the world population reached 7 billion people. I think right now it's 8 or 9 billion, something like that. By an average yearly increase in the world's population of 1987 2012. Okay. So um so again, time, years, that should be your X value. So you have 2012 was 5 billion people. I'm sorry. In 1987, it was 5 billion people, and 2012 was 7 billion. So that's going to be our coordinate there. So 1987, 5, and then 2012, 7. Okay, so this will be our x1, y1, x2, y2. So our slope there It's going to be y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. So our y2 is 7, our y1 is 5, our x2 is 2012, and then our x1 is 1987. And maybe write that. So 2012, 1987. Okay, so we'll have 2 on the top, and the bottom there should be 25. Okay, so we'll put that in the calculator. That's 0.08. So that's the average there. Okay, so 0.08 billion people per year. Okay. And then part B says write a linear equation that estimates the world's population in billions X years after 1987. So that's just going to be y is equal to 0.08x, okay, plus 5. Because again, it started at 5 billion people in 1987. So that's going to be our answer here for part B.